Welcome back, everyone. The doctor is in. Today, I'm continuing my mini-series on Technical Readout 3150. Today, I'll be talking about some of the vehicles that I wrote notable units for in this print TRO. The reason that only notable units were included, or I'm only talking about notable units, is because the entries in this TRO are reprinted from earlier technical readouts. Some of them appeared in the TRO 3145 series, some appeared in the print version, others appeared in various other TROs through the years, and were now collated in this book. It was decided to put some new material into the book in the form of notable units, specifically trying to make their noteworthy achievements occur within the period between 3145 and 3150. That way, readers can get something of a bridge in terms of the storyline as a whole, since there had not been any source books in that time period, at least not when this TRO came out. So what I'm showing you here, the first one is the Tang Ta APC. This happens to be one of the vehicles that I wrote in the TRO 3145 PDF series. I didn't get to write new notable units for all of the previous units I wrote, but I did get to write notable units for a lot of entries that I had not written previously. I'm not sure how those new notable units were allocated. I just know that I wrote more of them than anybody else. So in this case, the notable unit is Colonel Hubbard Hallowell. He is in charge of a Protectorate militia regiment on Fran Malin. This is a world in the Calderon Protectorate. So this refers to a pirate raid in 3148. So again, we're in that region between 45 and 50. And here I have the Joyeuse Corsair pirates launching a raid. I mentioned them in a previous TRO, and they are a pirate unit that I named and has never really been fleshed out in terms of personnel, combat doctrine, or anything like that. But they're on my list of ones that I want to give more attention to. The other, or one of the others, is the glorious Mayhem pirate band, which has only been mentioned by name and has not had any attention given to it. In this case, Colonel Hallowell takes his APCs and charges right into the pirate raiders. And because the APC is not heavily armed, they were wiped out. But Hallowell took the precaution of not loading his infantry in the APCs. Instead, he sent them on a flanking maneuver. And instead of attacking the enemy directly, he attacked the silos, the grain silos, that the pirates were trying to raid, setting off a grain explosion. I don't know if you've ever heard of the grain explosions in the Midwest, but they are a fairly terrifying thing for anyone who works in or near silos. So I have the folks out on the periphery, kind of the outer rim of the inner sphere. They're a lot of rural planets, and Fran Malin essentially is no different. And so, because of the grain explosions, the pirates' morale broke. They fled. However, it meant that the local farmers went bankrupt because the grain that they had intended to sell had been destroyed. So, there's no total victory in this case. Not for the good guys. The next unit was the Kite Reconnaissance Vehicle. Now, this is a hovercraft that I had not written before. So, in this case, the notable unit is Cornet Benjamino Ware, who leads a recon company in the 1st Taurian Armored Lancers. And this references a battle in March of 3148, where a company is on Mithron on anti-pirate duty. And again, guess who she encounters? The Joyeuse Corsair pirate band. So again, I'm trying to indicate that this pirate band is gaining strength, but I don't really have the word count to devote to a true exploration of their abilities, their tactics, their composition, their personnel, or anything like that. Still, you can see I'm building towards something. Next, I wrote the gun trailers. This was interesting. When I got the assignment, it was for field guns, and at some point they changed it to gun trailers. I'm not sure when. Here, again, I'm talking about, at least for the first notable unit, which is Gunnery Sergeant Lenny Porphyry, where he commands a militia detachment defending against Circinian Dread pirates. So the these are the Circinian Dread pirates. So the Saladin Federation was a periphery realm that fell to the Word of Blake influence, and then pirates took over, and essentially I have the Circinian Dread as a remnant of those who used to run the Circinian worlds. In this case, the pirates are attacking Abel's Glory. They run into Abel's Aces. And now this Lance of Abel's Aces was driven back by a company of the pirate mechs. And so it fell to these gun trailer and the infantry running them to hold their ground. And while Sergeant Porphyry was killed, saving 2 of his wounded comrades, he won the Rim Collection's highest award for valor. So the Rim Collection is another periphery realm which was near the former Circinian territory. So it makes sense that if there are any pirates left in that realm, they'd be raiding their neighbors as they had for years. So what I'm trying to do is just say that sometimes the status quo doesn't always change, especially in the periphery where technology still is trying to catch up to the inner sphere. The other notable unit, since I had a lot of space, I wrote 2, is Seaben Bing Moratan. And in this case, this is a battle on the world Detroit. Detroit used to be in the Franc Reaches. Now it is in the... then it was in the Magistracy of Canopus. I think by this point in the future, it's part of the Capellan Confederation. So here, she is on patrol. She spots some raiders approaching. She deploys her gun trailers and blasts the invaders to paste. Their origin was never discovered, so this is just a typical unexplained raid that takes place on a world in the Outer Rim. I don't remember if I had anything in particular planned to expound upon that. So let's go ahead and move on to the Saladin Mark II. Now, the Saladin originally appeared, I believe, in TRO 3026, way back in the 1980s. So here's an upgraded version of that classic hovercraft. Here I've got, again, 2 notable units. In this case, both of these are referring to the individual vehicles rather than any of their crews. So first I have Futsunushi, named for an ancient Japanese god of conquest. This hovercraft is among the Ryukin Go. It has played a large part in the Draconis Combine invasion of the Federated Suns. However, the other notable unit is called Unconquered, which was captured on Marlowe's Rift by the Federated Suns before they had to retreat from that world, and they put it into action opposing the Combine invasion. So in this case, they captured a vehicle, repaired it, sent it back in against its creators. In fact, it's credited with saving a company of the 3rd Seti Hussars on Deschler. This is something of a recall of earlier times where I've highlighted a specific example of the vehicle and tried to give it some significance, maybe some mystical nature, because soldiers are superstitious. So I'm trying to say that sometimes it's not necessarily the personnel but the equipment that matters, and just trying to avoid falling into a rut as regards, the brave last stand by this person or that crew. With vehicles, it's sometimes difficult to make them more appealing because the game is more about the battle mechs. So you can judge how I've done. So for the last unit I'm going to cover in this portion of the 3150 series is the Shun Transport VTOL. Now, I grouped most of the other VTOLs into a later grouping along with the aerospace units because I'm trying to have about equal numbers of these in each one. This is the only VTOL that I'm talking about today. The notable units include Commander Lizzie Stanton, who has a Shun Squadron in the 1st Highlanders Infantry Guard. So this is a Canopian unit, so another periphery combat. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I write a lot of stuff about periphery worlds and goings-on and individuals and their militaries. Here we're talking about a former Canopian world, Vixen, which was on the edge of Canopian territory in earlier eras, and by the Dark Age era had become an independent world. So here the 1st Magistracy Highlanders carried out a reprisal raid after renegades from that former Canopian world attacked the Canopian territory. So here Lizzie Stanton savaged the enemy because with VTOL they move fast and they can flank the enemy very well. In this case, she circumvented the enemy and destroyed their base. The other notable unit is Swipe. This is actually a vehicle rather than a crew. And this is referring to the 3rd time that this particular vehicle had been observed on a Federated Suns world during the invasion. And it's being used to capture the families of the planetary rulers and other nobles before they can escape. Now this is for the Capellan part of the invasion of the Federated Suns. So the Federated Suns is being invaded on both sides, one by the Draconis Combine, the other by the Capellans. And the reason that these nobles are being captured is so that they can be forced to order a surrender, to order their militia forces to lay down arms, to ease the invasion for the Capellans. So in this case, we've got kind of a special forces vehicle that is being used for a specific mission, not necessarily to destroy or harass, but to capture and coerce hostages to aid the invasion. So those are the units that I'm talking about today. Part 3 will deal with the rest of the vehicles that I wrote notable units for. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm going to have 4 more after this one, so there should be a total of 6. If you like this, hit a like, maybe subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Maybe share this link around to anyone else that's a BattleTech fan. Let them know about the playlist I'm building, BattleTech Author Speaks. Eventually I'm going to run out of material to talk about, so we'll see what I do after that. But for now, that's all I've got. The Doctor is out.